What is going on, guys? This is Trendkill, and welcome to a game that you more than likely have not heard of. This game is called Divinity Original Sin, and is the newest game in a long line of Divinity games. Now, Divinity games are cRPGs, which stands for computer role-playing games, and these cRPGs, if you don't know what kind of game that is, it's kind of like Baldur's Gate, or the original Fallout, or the first or second Fallout, I guess, Neverwinter Nights, Might and Magic. I mean, there's a ton of these old style computer RPGs that are isometric, click around, talk to everybody, really deep role-playing games. And these games force you to play a certain way. They force you to talk to the townspeople. They force you to think about fights before you actually just dive in and start pressing, okay, next, attack, attack, attack. So they're not like those old Final Fantasy games where it's turn-based and you just hit attack and it attacks. You actually have to position yourself correctly and think about stuff, and Divinity Original Sin takes that a step further and actually makes it an official turn-based cRPG, which is different. Most games like Baldur's Gate, you could attack in real time and move around in real time. However, you could also pause at any time. So they were kind of a fake role-playing, a fake turn-based, in the fact that you would attack somebody and then you could pause and redirect your attention to somebody else once that person did what you wanted them to do. So it was a similar style, except Divinity Original Sin takes it a step further and makes it a turn-based tactical style game, a la Final Fantasy Tactics, or Ogre Battle, or Shining Force, anything like that, except there is no grid. So you don't have a certain amount of X squares that you use. They use an ability point system in Divinity that allows you to say, oh yeah, okay, you can move anywhere you want, but you can only move this far because you only have that many ability points to use. So Divinity Original Sin is basically everything that I've ever loved about every cRPG that I've played, all wrapped into one. I was super excited when I heard about this game. I was super excited when I played it. This game has drawn me in more than most other games that I've played, and it's a very, very indie title. It's so indie, it was a Kickstarter game. I think if you go into options, yeah, here's the amount of Kickstarter backers. So, I mean, it made almost $1 million on Kickstarter, and I'm not going to make you watch that whole list, but the fact of the matter is that people wanted this style of game. People have been looking for a modern-day cRPG that could draw them in and immerse them like this game has. And I think this game definitely deserves your attention. So go check it out. It's $39.99 on Steam. I believe it's on sale right now for like $31. You can get a bonus 2-pack for $70, and that comes with the old Divinity games and future DLC that's going to come out for Divinity, for Divinity Original Sin, and you get 2 copies of it, so you can give it to a friend. Now, the cool thing about this game is it is multiplayer. It is co-op, so you and a buddy can control 2 people and fight together completely in unison. So it's a really, really well done cRPG, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it. The cool thing about this game that I think my channel is absolutely going to love is the immense customization when it comes to creating your character. It's ridiculous, and I'm going to go in to single player mode, and I'm going to show you how absolutely deep this customization is on your character. And understand that what I'm getting ready to show you is just the surface of it. Everything can change at any given time, and you can make any character that you create anything you want, which is the beauty of cRPGs. If you remember Baldur's Gate, it was D&D essentially in a video game form. Neverwinter Nights was the same way. You had a certain set of rules that you have to follow. You have certain stats that you have to have before you can make certain saving rolls or certain attack rolls or get certain abilities or skills. And this game is a lot like that. It's slightly dumbed down. And when I mean dumbed down, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean simplified. So it's a slightly simplified version of the Baldur's Gate or the Neverwinter Nights, where you have X amount of stats and you have races and things like that you don't have to worry about in this game. In this game, you create a character, and then you can customize it freely however you want without having to worry about having an 1800 strength and things like that. So let's take a look at the pre-made characters. Now, when I say pre-made, this is literally just an idea. So none of this class matters at all. I can click Battle Mage and make it an archer. None of it matters. It's just a place to start for the character that you want to create. And you're going to see that I'm going to make an archer, but I'm going to make it completely different than the base archer that they have. All right, so your pre-made or your base classes that you start with are Battle Mage, Cleric, Enchanter, Fighter, Knight, Ranger, Rogue, Shadowblade, Wayfarer, Witch, and Wizard. Knight Ranger there, for anybody that's an 80s fan. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to show you the customization. I'm going to briefly kind of mull over everything, not mull over, that would mean I would take a long time. I'm going to briefly skim over everything, kind of skip around and show you guys some of the things that you can do, and then I'm going to toss these two characters together. Now, you are noticing I've got 2 people to create. That is another thing that is completely different about this game in comparison to other games. Usually for a single player campaign, you'd create 1 character and you'd go in through the game playing that character, you'd pick up party members as you go. This game, you start with 2 and you end with 4, not counting any summons that those 4 people can create. So basically, starting off as a single player game, you create 2 people. If I were playing co-op right now, I would invite someone. They would start over take over the character creation for one of the 2 characters, and then we would move on from there, creating our own characters, controlling them completely separately, saving the game. They can jump in and out whenever they see fit. If I want to create a single player game and then invite somebody else, they can jump in and take over my second player, just like it was a multiplayer game. So it's really, really well done as far as the co-op. Just, I'm amazed by this game. From an indie developer, I think the Larian Studios out of Belgium, for an indie developer who's only really got 1 small line of video games, this is extremely, extremely well done. So let's get into the customization. So first off, we got Roderick here, and you can name him whatever you want. You can make him look however you want. It's not Skyrim or WildStar or any of the sports games where you can adjust their jawline and their ear size, but there's a decent amount of physical appearance changes that you can make. But really, in a cRPG, a top-down isometric style, who really cares about adjusting it that much, right? It doesn't matter. What matters is the customization that is inside each class that you create. So let's go to Customize here. Now you can see here that there are already, it's a mind-blowing amount of information that we're looking at. I'm gonna go ahead and expand all of these, and you can see exactly how much information there is to take in on your very first time creating a character. You've got attributes over here to the right: strength, dexterity, intelligence, constitution, speed, perception. Each one of these defines a specific something that you can or can't do. You've got starting skills down here, again, scratching the surface. These are the skills that you start with. And the importance of starting with certain skills is that once you pick 3 skills, when you get into the game, you don't just learn abilities as you level up. You have to find skill books to learn those abilities. So these 3 are important for the first few bits of the game until you get to the main town. But even then, those books cost money, and if you don't have somebody who's going to start pilfering stuff out of people's houses and make you a ton of money, they can be expensive, and you may not get what you want. So regardless, let's get into the customization. You can see we've got weapons: bow, crossbow, single-handed, two-handed. So very simplified. You don't have dagger, sword, axe, and hammer specializations. You have just single-handed, and two-handed, you have spears, and you have, I think there's a scythe in the game, and you have two-handed swords and stuff like that, but they're all two-handed weapons. So a spear would count as a two-handed weapon ability. You've got defense, armor, and shield specialist, which should be fairly obvious. As a battle mage, they think I need a point in armor specialist, which is great. Bodybuilding and willpower are a little different. Now, in this game, a lot like Dungeons & Dragons and MERP, Middle-earth role-playing, or any cRPG that you're used to, you have saving rolls. So if I'm casting a frozen spell on you, I have a roll to make sure that I cast that correctly, right? So say I've got a 90% chance to cast a spell. Well, I have a 90% chance that spell is going to work. If that spell does work, it's cast at you. I will freeze you unless you make a saving roll, or I fumble the freeze. So there's 2 checks there. I have to do it correctly, and you have to not save against it for my ability to work on you. Now, it'll still do damage if you save, but you're saving against the freeze, right? So that's what willpower does. Willpower affects saving throws against magical and mental spells. Bodybuilding affects saving throws against physical statues. So cripple, blind, disease, infected, knockdown, stuff like that. So very interesting little twist there in the fact that they simplified it enough to where this one stat affects your saving throws for a blank amount of things. That's really neat, instead of having a strength roll or a dexterity roll, something like that. So then we've got skills. This is the meat. This is what's going to define your class. This is going to be what you can do when you get into the game. So we've got Aerotheurge, which is wind spells. We've got Expert Marksman, which is your ranged ranger type spells. We've got Geomancer, which is obviously earth. Hydrosophist, Hydro, which is water spells, obviously. Man-at-Arms, which is your warrior or your battle mage or your knight abilities. Pyrokinetics is obviously what it sounds like. It's fire abilities. Scoundrel, which is your thief, assassin style abilities. And Witchcraft, which is your witchcraft style abilities. Their bleeds, their curses, things like that. Personality, very simple stuff. Bartering, charisma, leadership, lucky charm. Lucky charm is going to increase your ability to find good items when you search through chests and barrels and boxes, things like that. Leadership's going to give your party a boost of skills and stats, which is pretty good. Charisma and bartering, obviously, they are what they say they are. Charisma is your first impression you make on people and your ability to win these mini games when you're trying to intimidate, charm, or reason with people. Bartering makes the stuff that you sell to people more expensive and makes the stuff that you buy from them cheaper. You got a crafting system, blacksmithing, crafting, lore master, and telekinesis. Lore master is your ability to identify unidentified items, a la Diablo or the Diablo series in general, where you have unidentified items you have to take somewhere and have them identified. Telekinesis, just you can pick stuff up from a distance. You got nasty deeds like sneaking, pockpicketing. Let's try pickpocketing. And lockpicking, obviously that stuff is very generic. You've also got a list of talents. So we're not even through all of the customization yet. And remember, not only are we not through one person, we've got to create two. So let's go ahead and throw some people together. I don't want to be a battle mage, so I'm just going to start. And again, this does not matter. I could have changed everything on the battle mage and made it into a ranger. However, this gets me closer to where I want to be off the bat, so I don't have to change as much around. So starting off, let's go into customize. I'm going to take 1 off perception, add 1 to speed. I like starting off that way. That's just my preference. You can put 1 in perception if you like. I like the speed because it gives me how many action points I can use in combat, meaning each turn in combat, I get a certain amount of action points. Speed dictates how many action points you get. So that's going to give me the ability to be a little more useful each turn. Make sense? Okay, good. Even though I am a marksman and I'm going to play with a bow, I am not going to start with expert marksman abilities, nor am I going to start with any crafting. I don't think that's necessary. You definitely don't need lore master starting off. You definitely don't need blacksmithing starting off. And I really don't find that you need crafting starting off. I think those are points that if you choose to put points in those later, you can definitely 100% absolutely do that. I am going to start off, with Geomancer, and I'm going to start off with Scoundrel. And I'll tell you why here in a very short second. I'm also going to put a point in sneaking. And then I've got 1 more. What shall I do with my last remaining point? I think I'm going to put that into maybe bodybuilding. I haven't fully decided yet. We'll come back to that. Let me think on that for a second. Let's go over and pick my starting skills. So under skills here, I've got Geomancer and Scoundrel. So I can only select starting skills. You can see how these are now dimmed out. That means I can't use these because I can't start with them because I don't have a point in Expert Marksman. I may end up putting my point in Expert Marksman, but I don't want anything that's in this right now. I don't think. We'll wait. Again, we're gonna wait. I'm gonna think on that. First off, let's go to Geomancy. I'm gonna grab Summon Pet. I'm gonna play more of an actual ranger role where I've got a pet with me and they can help tank while I stand behind them and shoot people with my bow. So I'm gonna select Summon Pet. The first summon you get is a big spider. That is extremely good. Now you can see since my intelligence is very high, I've got a 30% penalty to casting that spider. However, I've literally never ever seen it fail, so I don't know what that 30% penalty is to, but I've never seen my spider not cast. So either that was a bug in beta, haha, bug, get it, because spiders, or it doesn't affect your ability to cast it, it affects something else, and I don't know what that other thing is. So anyway, we're gonna go then into Scoundrel, and I'm gonna select Fast Track, which gives me a hasten status, and this, again, affects my ability points. It's going to give me 4 maximum ability points, 4 additional starting ability points, and an additional 3 recovery. So if I know I'm getting ready to get into a fight, I can fast track, run into it. I start with 4 more, and I recover 3 more per turn. Very, very good for somebody who wants to be a utility-style player. Not to mention, it helps me travel faster as I'm in town. So I'm going to go ahead and get Fast Track, and I'm also going to grab, right off the bat, we're going to grab Walk in Shadows. Extremely good spell outside of combat. Not so great in combat unless you're getting ready to die and you're like, crap, I cannot be attacked this turn. I need to vanish. Boom, you disappear and you can get out safely. But more so in town, walking around, you can literally do whatever you want because you have a 100% chance to be invisible, and you're invisible for, it seems like 30 seconds. I mean, it's a long time, but you can just walk around, steal things off walls, nobody knows what you're doing, and it's just a really, really, really good spell. I'm going to take that, and I think that's going to basically be my starting build. Now, I got one more point that I'm going to decide where I want to put that, and I think I want to put that in bodybuilding. I think that's going to give me a little bit of saving bonus against being knocked down, which I absolutely cannot stand. So I'm going to go into bodybuilding. And I think that's all I really want to do with this guy in that. So let's go to our talents. Now, we haven't talked about talents. I wanted to make sure that I picked the class that I was going to use before we got into the talents. Because basically the abilities that you have and the attributes that you have dictate which talents you get to pick. Well, I don't think attributes do, but the abilities that you have decide which talents you're able to pick. So let's take a look at what we've got. We've got arrow recovery. Gives you a 20% chance to recover a special arrow after shooting it. Now, basically how I'm going to build my party, I'm only going to use these magical arrows as I see fit. I'm not going to be spamming them because they use extra AP to use. So I don't find this to be very important. Backstabber, I'm obviously not going to need because I'm not going to be using daggers. I'm going to be using a bow. Bully, however, is very nice, especially how I'm going to make my other character, at least in my head. So I'm going to go ahead and select Bully. For now, we can come back to that later. Courageous, grants you immunity to fear. I don't think that's super important. I'm going to be in the back, not in the fray. Elemental Affinity is not going to matter to me because I'm not really casting all that many spells. Escapist allows you to flee even when enemies are right next to you. If you get into a fight that you can't do anything in, you have the option to flee. Fuck that. I'm not running. What am I, a pussy? Far out doesn't matter. Spells and scrolls, that doesn't matter. 5-star diner doubles the effects of food. I've literally never eaten anything in this game, and I don't find it to be super important. You get a healer right off the bat once you get into town, so I'm not going to use that. Gorilla doubles your attack damage while sneaking. However, I have found it's much better to start a battle with Fast Track and my Spider than it is with one sneak attack, because I'm only doing double damage to one person, whereas my Spider, I start with an extra person, I start with more AP, and I think that's the way to go. So I'm not going to take Gorilla. Know-it-all gives me intelligence I don't care about. Leech heals you when you're standing in blood. I don't find that to be super important. Light Stepper I don't think is important this early. Lone Wolf is extremely interesting. In SNK, when I were playing in the beta, I chose Lone Wolf. Basically, when you're a Lone Wolf, you can no longer have a companion, but you receive an 80-point bonus to Vitality, which is your health. You get a 2-point bonus to recovery and a maximum action points and extra ability point on level up. So you're getting 2 ability points every time you level up. I may, and I'm not 100% sure yet, I may put this on my melee character when I create one. I haven't decided yet. We may come back to that, but the problem is we only have a 3-person party instead of a 4-person, and that may bite us in the ass later. But I'm going to focus, I think, more on summons than I am on having someone that's permanently there. I don't know yet. We'll decide that in a second. Morning Person, when resurrected, you receive full health. I think that's a defeatist talent. I'm not going to take it. Precious, that doesn't matter for me. Pack Mule, increase the amount you can carry, also doesn't matter. Pet Pal enables you to talk to animals. SNK really likes that one. I think it's kind of stupid. Charisma bonus, but you lose a point in intelligence. Blacksmithing crafting bonus. Speed Creeper may not be bad. Let me take a drink here real quick. Speed Creeper may not be bad. Walk it off. What a rush. I just don't know what to go with. All right, let me think on that as well. We'll come back to that later. Remember, I've got 1 talent point to put in my archer. Let's go over and create the other class. Now, I'm going to start off as a fighter because they're their sword and shield. That's how I'm going to want them to play. Let's go into customize class. I'm going to build this person around buffing me and CCing shit, right? Getting into the fray and taking as much damage as possible without killing themselves, basically. So I'm going to take, again, another point off of perception. I don't think perception is that important early. I could be wrong. Maybe I just don't know. Crit chance, initiative, starting action points in combat. These are things that I don't care about on this character necessarily. Perception is important for my attack person, whatever that person's called. My bow, my ranger. Jesus, I couldn't think of it. I'm gonna put another point in strength or constitution. Maybe constitution. That might be the play right there. That might be it. All right, let's take a look at our abilities. We've got a single-handed, which I want. We've got shield specialist, which I want. Armor specialist, which is great. Man-at-arms, which is your warrior melee attack player thing. I am going to take 1 point out of bodybuilding because honestly, I don't care if she's knocked down because she's going to be the person that's taking the damage. So I want her to kind of be in there. Whether she's knocked down or not, it doesn't necessarily matter to me. I'm going to put a point in leadership because that's only going to give the rest of the team more AP, more extra stats that she gets for every point in leadership. So she's going to be the leader. I like that right off the bat. Let's go over here and choose the spells that we're going to use. I'm going to select Cure Wounds is going to be my one spell. I'm also going to select Crushing Fist. That's going to give us a little CC and Battering Ram. So I think this is the start. Battering Ram is going to get her into the fight, tank up that shit ton of damage. Crushing Fist is going to CC stuff, and also Battering Ram has a chance to CC. And then beyond that, Cure Wounds, when she gets low, she can heal herself or anybody that's around her for a lot of health. So that I think that's the play. We may. I'm specializing. We're coming off speed and we're going on strength. We're going on strength. Every one of these has a strength roll save wise. Yeah, so there's a 50% chance instead of a 40. I get a boost to my cure for having high strength. Yeah, I don't know, man. Just don't know. I think that's the play. I think that's what we're doing. On top of that, you can see that these are different. I've got Opportunist now, which gives you the ability to perform an attack of opportunity. Now, for those of you guys who don't know what that is, an attack of opportunity is the ability to, if somebody's right next to you and they move away from you, you get an opportunity attack on them. So you get a chance to attack them without taking any ability points, without taking your turn. None of that matters. It's just a free attack, basically. So I'm going to dash in. If anybody tries to move away from me to heal or shoot me with the bow or whatever, I'm going to get attack of opportunity on them. So that is definitely an important ability for a warrior-style player. I don't know that bully matters. I'm wanting to take damage. I could go lone wolf. I think I gotta go lone wolf. I think I'm playing lone wolf. Let's see how this works. I'm gonna be a hell of a tank. Thick skin, 5 extra base armor plus whatever your man-at-arms is times 2. So 7 base armor off the top, off the start. I don't like that. Doesn't seem like that would scale very well. I think we go with this. I think we go with Opportunist and Lone Wolf. All right, so now let's go back. Accept that. Accept. So we got our chick tank, which doesn't make any sense, and our dude ranger. I should probably just make her a dude, right? That doesn't make any sense to have. You're gonna be.
There must be. Careful.
Oh, you're gonna be a warrior. Let's make you tan. The August sun. Oh yeah, that looks badass. Ooh, the beard though. The beard. And I think we go with the black hair. I think we go with jet black. Oh yeah, you look scary, bro. Let's see. What's our hair look like? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, that looks kind of stupid with the little faux hawk thing. But the bald mohawk's not bad. He looks like a dedicated bad mother. Shut your mouth. I think we do that. I think we got 2 dudes. We're rolling. We're rolling. He's not gonna be Scarlet. Let's do tank guy. Let's go back in here. All right, what are we gonna choose for our second talent? We got bully. I guess we could do arrow recovery. I just don't think that's super important. You get a 20% chance every time you shoot one, and I don't shoot them that often. Excuse me, let me take another drink here. I don't think Gorilla's important. I'm not going to be sneak attacking all that much. We could go Light Stepper, 2 perception bonus for detecting traps and secrets. I just don't... Again, early on, I don't think that's important. I'm gonna go with Speed Creeper, I think. That's gonna give me the ability to do more as I'm sneaking around. Not super important though. I'm trying to pick things that are important in battle. Why am I so indecisive? Why'd that be? Let me think on this for a second. I'm gonna come right back. Let me take a second to read through these and think without you guys having to watch me.
One eternity later.
All right, the decision has been made. I am now a speed creeper. It's just kind of a quality of life thing. When I'm running through people's houses, stealing shit, I want to be able to move as fast as possible, and I move at 50% speed when I'm sneaking. So, there we go. Speed creeper it is. All right, I'm done there. My name's gonna be Shooter Gavin. Is that even how he spells his name? And this guy's gonna be Happy. Yeah, there we go. Happy and Shooter. I'm just gonna take their last names off. There we have it. All right, accept. Are you sure you're done with character creation for all your characters? The answer is yes. I'm gonna let you guys watch the intro video if you'd like, but I'm gonna do that on a part 2 because this took way longer than I anticipated. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here for this video, guys. Stick around for part 2. They will be uploaded at the same time. So I will upload both of these videos today, but make sure you head over to part 2 to watch actually some gameplay, watch the intro video, check it out. See if you guys think you're gonna like it because there is really a limitless amount of possibilities in how you create characters and parties and how you play with your friends. So check it out, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Stick around for part 2. I will see you guys next time. Later.